Hi, this is a short tutorial on creating and testing objects in the KISS framework. So right here I've written already a very small source file to illustrate the basic idea. So down here, class app is the application class that we've been using before, for example, for the Hello World. And so this has been created for us kind of in the background before. So I just wanted to illustrate kind of more of an isolated class. So here's the basic notation. You use the word class and then some useful name. In this case, we just puppy. So we're making the idea of a puppy here. And apparently puppies only have one feature that's that interesting is they awaken, and when they awaken they bark. So you could add an awful lot of other features in here, but I wanted to keep it as simple as possible to start with. Um, so here's a single method of puppy, and when puppies awaken, they bark. And then down here is a test for how do you test that kind of idea. So if I wanted to test the idea of a puppy, well, so what I'll do is I'll make one, and this is the notation you use in Java to create what are called instances of a class. So capital P-U-P-P-Y is the name of the class, and the convention in Java is that the first letter is uppercase in class names, and then instances are typically lowercase. So here, the class puppy, we're making an instance puppy with a lowercase p of that idea of a puppy with the new keyword. So you say new and then puppy and parentheses. This creates a version of a puppy that we can now ask to have do things for us. And the only thing we can ask it to do is ask it to awaken, and so and if we awaken, we expect it to print out a bark, and so this is a little test, so this is the test. So expect to bark when you ask the puppy to awaken, and this would be a very simple test, and so how, and then the last part is, well, so if this is a puppy and this is the only thing puppies can do, then how do we test that? So then here's our entry point, the actual application. So when we want to test the actual application, I'll just call it test app. When you test the app, you ought to test all the components that are involved in that app, and the easiest way to do that is just invoke test. So test is part of the KISS framework, and then an instance of every object that you'd like to test. So in this case, I want to test a puppy, so just make a puppy and send it in test, and test will then look through and find all the test methods and invoke them. And then just to show how it works, when you run it, you hit run and wait a moment. So test app started, and notice it doesn't say test app ended. Actually, in the middle of test app started, it then starts testing puppy. So in the test app, we now, inside of it, go ahead and ask for puppies to be tested. And that didn't take very long, and then because that didn't take it very long, then test app didn't take very long. So these all finish up, and the whole thing is tested. So here is the class notation. Here is a pretty good setup for how to test some sort of class as you create the methods that are interesting to you, and then test that they work here. Any other things? I guess I'll point out that if you try to make many puppies and test them, the framework only tests the first one. So if in your test you need lots of puppies for some other part of your tests, there's nothing wrong with asking it to test things multiple times. It just checks. And I think so in here, notice only test puppy happens once, even though I ask it to test it twice. What happens instead is it says, oh yeah, I already tested that thing, so there's no reason to run through the same set of tests twice, and so it just does it the first time. So you can hand this test idea around to different methods and have it just work out that way. So and in fact, so here I guess inside of tests, it's not a bad habit to do things like that, right? So when I'm trying to test puppy, well, test new puppy, that's kind of a recursive idea there. But no, in fact, it knows I'm in the middle of testing puppies, so it's not going to retest the tested puppy in here. So when you're inside of tests, when you're building things, it's a good idea to just go ahead and test them. And a simple way to do that is every time you make one, pass it through the tests. If it hasn't been tested already, it'll run through the set of tests, and then it'll hand back the puppy that was created, which you can then use now knowing that it was tested. And that is the basic idea of testing your objects as you use them. All right, that's it.